2, 3, we're live.
You know, many of us find the need from time to time for counseling, and yet there's a lot of stigma that sometimes gets attached to that. Could you talk a little bit about how you've dealt with the concerns or stigma around mental health counseling and what that's been like for you?
Well, I've had on and off psychiatrists and therapy my whole life, and it's always been very beneficial to me. When I started here, I told my mom, and she was like, "Oh, don't go to the psychiatrist. They'll just give you pills and make you believe that you're depressed." But I reassured her that I was going to a therapist, which is completely different. Well, it's different in a sense. But I tried to reassure her that, it's not because I have horrible depression or I have horrible big problems like they usually make it out to believe that you need a therapist for. It's just because I know that life happens and you have experiences that harm you in ways that you can't decide, and you have to fix them, and everyone has those experiences. One big thing that gets kind of set into you in high school, schools usually have therapists there, or guidance counselors that you can go to, and a lot of schools will only let you talk to these people if you're thinking of suicide. And I feel like it really leaves kids thinking that the only reason to go to a therapist is when you have extreme issues, like past the point where where it gets too bad, like really extremely bad. But that's not the case at all. Like, therapy is for before that point. You should never go to a therapist when it's at that point. It's before that's really needed. And I really want people to know that therapy is for everyone, not just the ones that feel more extreme pain.
Okay, that sounds really important, and it brings to mind one of the things that I know the Community Counseling Center is doing, which is getting out into every school district in the county to be available to kids, not just for those extreme suicidal circumstances, but to catch them ahead of that and to be available to them. So you really highlighted an important thing and made me realize just how challenging it is these days for kids to try to navigate and get the help that they need before things really seem to be extreme.
Yeah, it is. It was very confusing as a high schooler to be told that, like, to know I was feeling awkward and feeling issues and knew I need to fix something, but then be told that they weren't important because I hadn't gotten that bad that I was thinking of suicide. And that's such a wrong belief, to think that you can't get help until it's at that point. You can always get help.
Well, kudos to you for having the courage to step up and get help and support for yourself. That's a great model for everyone in our community.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Terrific.